Welcome back to Closing Mouth Media. My name is Chris. I'm here to do a quick review with my co-host.
What's going on? My name is Paul. About to do a quick review for you guys on episode 3 of WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Bro,
Can't wait.
crazy, man. You want to jump into your initial thoughts after watching that
I,
episode?
First of all, the first half of this episode was really funny.
Comedy,
It
bro.
was just straight jokes the whole time.
Mm.
And I was really enjoying it. I thought this is a different spin. Once you saw the first two episodes, you knew that this show was not going to be like anything Marvel's done before.
Yeah.
This is a different type of thing. They're going in a different direction. They're exploring different genres. With this one being like in that sitcom feel, and then it's like supposed to turn into a dark way, kind of, is what we're seeing. And then Doctor Strange, which this leads directly into Doctor Strange 2, is supposed to be like a horror movie for the most part.
Yeah.
So I really like the direction they went. The first episode of this episode was hilarious. The second half started hinting at little things, and the progression that they did, it was beautiful. What do you think?
Honestly, man, I like you said before. I think the first two episodes were amazing with how they started off, where it went from like the 50s to the 60s, and now we're jumping into the 1970s with the Brady Bunch. They're emulating that
I think it was
sitcom.
it was like they kind of combined like some 70s and 80s type stuff
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't do their whole season with sitcoms.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't get no Friends references from what I could tell. They just said no to the 90s. No Seinfeld that I saw, but anyway, yeah, they really did a good job. Like the set pieces, the hair, the fucking clothing. Once again, shout out to like the clothing director and all that. It was very cool. Vision's hair, bro, was that shit got to go.
You wasn't like it? You wasn't
that
like
shit
it?
got to go.
I thought he looked really good.
I did not. Paul Bettany, I'm sorry, bro. You look better purple.
Oh damn, he does look good purple, but
so basically this episode, quick rundown of this episode. I hope you've seen it. If you haven't, we're gonna get into a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out on Disney Plus. But unless you want to just know what's going on in the show, and then maybe it'll pique your interest enough to jump into it before it gets too much going, because we're still in the beginning stages. Basically, it starts off this episode. Vision and Wanda just found out that Wanda's pregnant. They're seeing a doctor, and he's like, "Listen, you're 4 months pregnant," and she's like, Vision's like, she's all excited. Vision was the one that was like tentative. He's like, it's been like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's moving fast.
So then it starts progressing, and there's like a lot of funny stuff that goes on, and then she goes into labor, and the woman who was with her was what? Not Jacqueline. What was her name? Durandamy or something?
No, that wasn't. I was about to say her, but that was the guy with the afro.
Yeah, well, it was the woman with the afro. Yeah. And from episode 1, she didn't have an afro, but she was the one that was like, I don't know what I'm doing here at the dinner party. And I thought, and when they do the recap, they showed that part, and I'm like, some sus shit going on here. Because why would they show that exact line where she's like, I don't know what I'm doing here? And then from the trailer, there was a scene that was ended up being in this, which was where she was like, who are you or whatever, and she kind of looks at her and just goes, and she didn't say the line from the trailer. So in the trailer she says, who are you, and she like glitches out, and this could be from a different episode, but it was the same outfits.
Oh, so they probably changed it around then.
Yeah, and she basically says like, who are you, and she goes, like glitches out, and she goes, I don't know, and then like starts crying. So maybe
I gotta watch that again, because
I think it was the same outfits, because I'm pretty sure I remember her having an afro. Anyway, basically, she had some kids.
Twins, twins.
She had 2 kids.
Billy and Tommy.
Well, Tommy and Billy,
Tommy
I guess.
Billy, yeah. Her stomach was huge, but I thought she was gonna have triplets. But I mean, you said you read the comics and you knew that she was gonna have twins.
Twins in the comics. Plus, she's a twin. Yeah.
I think honestly, after I love how like the beginning half of the show was like just straight comedy, and then we got to like the last 10 minutes of the show, and it just got really intense.
Super dark.
Yeah.
Super dark, super creepy. You can kind of see that vibe that they're going for, that like creepy, like you don't know what's going on type like weirdness.
I think before we get into like the last 10 minutes, I feel like the beginning part where Vision steps outside and you see Herb's kind of like she would like he's
having
like
cutting through the wall.
Yeah, he had like a weird glitch going on. I don't even know what's going on.
And he was just like still smiling, like, oh, it looks like I went too far, and then he just keeps going.
I'm like, bro, you good? Imagine seeing that.
My wall up, like. But yeah, I thought that was weird, and that was kind of one of the first little hints. And then,
Yeah.
so if you had watched episode 1 and 2 very closely, the little plane, helicopter that she finds in her bush, Wanda, um, it has a little symbol on it, and it's like a circle with a sword in it.
I didn't even notice that until they did the recap at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Yep.
And then the beekeeper, when he crawls out of the manhole, on his back is the same symbol. So obviously there's something going on here. And then this woman who's helping Wanda kind of deliver the babies
Yeah.
has a necklace on with this symbol. So then a lot of the episode that we can go over is a lot of jokes. But obviously that's just comedy. Go check it out. It's funny. The main point of this whole episode is last like he said, like 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes, where she has the kids and then more stuff starts to go weird. So Vision goes outside and he sees Agatha speaking to
Agnes.
or Agnes, sorry.
Yeah.
People think she's going to be Agatha Hartway from or Harkness, yeah, from the comics, but I don't think so. I think she's bad. She's speaking to the guy with the afro, which is Herb. And Vision's like, what are they talking about? Like, why are they whispering? They're like gesturing towards Vision in a kind of way. And he gets weirded out and he's like, what's going on, neighbors? And then Herb is like about to tell him something, and Agnes is like, no, don't. And then just like acts normal afterwards and is like, bye. And like winks at it. It was weird.
I think it was weird though because she kind of was like she was sitting there. She seemed like she was with the idea of like Herb telling him whatever. Like she seemed like she was on board because she was like, "Where's Wanda? Is she inside?" She's like, "Okay." And then as Herb is like kind of as he's trying to like say what he wants to say, eventually she's just like, "You know what? Forget it. No, like let's not do this." And then she, like you said, she smiles and then just like rides her bike away.
So I think I have a theory after this episode. So let me just jump into the episode one more time. While that's happening, inside, Wanda mentions that she's a twin with Pietro, Quicksilver, and how he passed away. And then the woman in the house that was helping deliver the babies says, "Oh, he died to Ultron, didn't he?" And at that point, shit just went weird completely. And Wanda kind of was like, what'd you just say? And she was like, oh, I said you're going to be such a wonderful mother or whatever. And so she tries to avoid it. And then she's like, I think you should leave. Some more creepy dialogue and stuff. Vision ends up coming back in the house. And he goes, oh, where'd she go? And Wanda says, oh, she had to leave. She had to run home quickly.
They had like this very eerie view on her face.
Very, very weird.
And I'm like, yo, did she kill her?
So then we see her like getting blasted by Wanda's like red shit out of this like
portal
in the sky, and then she starts rolling on the ground, and then all these agents start coming up from this like compound, and you see it's kind of like the real world, I guess, and there's actually a sign that says Westview in the real world. So here's my theory. I haven't told Paul this, I haven't told anybody this because I just thought about it when I was watching this episode. My theory is, right, I think part of this reality, most of it, is Wanda. I think it's Wanda, right? But I think there's two other players, not just one. I don't think it's 1 versus 1. I think there's actually 2 other players in this
reality.
In this reality.
Okay.
So I think Wanda created this to an extent, partially. But I'm not going to go back on what I said last week. I think someone kind of influenced her and pushed her into it. And kind of like Scarlet Witch. I still think it's Agnes. Even though this week will make you lead to believe that she's like, not in control, because it seemed like she was being controlled by somebody else. I still think it's Agnes that's pulling some strings on the bad end. I think Wanda's pulling some strings to keep shit the way she wants it. And then I think Sword sent the African American woman into this reality
to kind of spy,
to try and get some info and whatever. And then she slipped up when she said, oh, he died to Ultron.
No,
because she wasn't supposed to know that. So I think it could be Sword, the Sword from the comics, if you guys know. It's kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D., but it deals with more like interdimensional, intergalactic threats, and Shield is more like, Earth bound. So it could be Sword, and they're trying to infiltrate and trying to like help Wanda. Who knows? It could be Hive still. It could be somebody bad, or not Hive, AIM. It could be somebody bad, but I think it's them. I think it's Wanda doing a lot of her creepy, weird shit that she does that I love so much, and then I think it's somebody else. I still think it's Agnes. I still think Agnes got something going on here.
Possibly, honestly,
I want to hear your theory. Give me like a theory for the rest of the season. Like, what do you think is going on here?
I think I'm with like the majority of the group. Like basically how you started off, where she basically created her own reality. I feel like from like all the pain that she's gone through in her life, as far as losing her brother Silver, Pietro, whatever, like
Pietro, Quicksilver,
yeah, and losing Vision. I think she kind of like decided to isolate herself from like everyone, and she created this reality for herself where she's happy and everything is going the way that she wants it to go. And obviously there's a few times where people slip up and do weird things, and then she kind of is just looking like, like you're not doing your part in this reality. So it kind of makes her think like what's going on. Like there was a scene that we forgot to mention in the episode where she's laying on the couch and Vision kind of gets close, and he seems like he's kind of starting to like realize what's going on.
I love this scene too.
I forgot what he said though, but
basically Vision is walking up, and they're talking. They kind of mention, one of them mentions how like things have been weird, and then Vision goes, yeah, and actually something happened outside, and then he like sits down next to her and he goes, Wanda, I think something's wrong here. I'm getting chills just thinking about this scene. I love this scene, and I can't believe I forgot it because of all the crazy stuff that happened at the end.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just cuts, and it's back to what she said like 20 seconds ago, and he answers the question again, but in a totally normal way, where it's like, oh, everything's fine, we're gonna be okay, we're gonna be parents.
It was like a weird glitch that happened. It made us rewind it because we were just like, wait, that was supposed to happen, I think, right?
So the thing, yeah, it was. So the thing is here, is that Wanda, when she wanted something to be rewound, she said no, and she rewound it. This was just a glitch, and when they cut to Wanda, she seems kind of confused.
Yeah.
She's kind of sitting there like, yeah, everything is gonna be fine, like as if she just had deja vu or something.
Yeah.
So that was somebody else, maybe that person that's behind the TV with the remote or whatever from the first episodes, that is like controlling it and playing this like thing for Wanda. And as sad as I am to say this, like, and I think it's kind of obvious, but that ain't Vision. That is not Vision. That is obviously not him.
Bro, like, we watched him die in Endgame. I feel like she created a fake Vision.
I see.
That's what I think.
Here's the thing.
I think we're gonna find
the thing. I think Vision might not be created by her.
Oh, that's them. Okay.
So I think he might end up being partially controlled by her, and then partially by like placed there, and then like towards the end, it's gonna come down to like, you have to be the real Vision for me or some shit, and then he like snaps out of it fully, and then becomes like fully Vision again or something. I don't know.
This episode definitely confirmed it though, because I was sitting there like because like I said before, like we were kind of confused like as to like are they jumping back in time or something like that. Like it was kind of weird, but now that they mentioned her brother, when she mentioned
and
her
it's
brother,
definitely present day when the girl got sent out the portal.
Yeah, exactly. Once she mentioned that her brother died, I was like, all right, so Vision is actually still dead. Like we're still on the same timeline, but she did something.
It's in a different reality.
Yeah, exactly.
A cool Easter egg that we didn't mention that I saw online is that the bottle. So this is my last thoughts on this. The bottle of wine, when they have the dinner with Mrs. and Mr. Hart, it has an M on it on the label, and then on the label there's a French word which means house of misery. House of misery could be interpreted in a couple different ways. First of all, it could be the house that she literally built around her in this reality because of her own fucking misery. Obviously it could be very on the nose, or it could be something that's gonna give me fucking chills again, which is the House of M storyline, which is one of my favorite storylines in the history of comics. It's the most gangster shit ever. Basically, Wanda is affected by the loss of, I believe it's Vision actually at that time, but now I'm even mixing up one of my favorite storylines. But she's affected by the loss of loved ones, and she drops to her knees and she whispers, "No more mutants," and basically wipes out like 95% of the mutant population.
Damn.
Just they cease to exist like that, and she creates a completely different reality. And like, it's fucking wild. So if they do, and it's called House of M, and this bottle of wine, it could just be an Easter egg, or
That would be sick.
knowing that Disney now owns the X-Men, we could be leading into the X-Men somewhere. And I think, honestly, a great way to end this, even though I definitely don't think it's going to happen, but a great way to end this is if the only person that in the comics, Paul, let's see, as a more comics casual person, a more movie focused, TV focused person, who do you think has the mental prowess to pull Scarlet fucking Witch out of her own reality that's in her head?
Give me 5 seconds.
He does what you're doing right now.
I was about to say, and he's from the X-Men, right?
Yes.
Oh, so it's
He is the damn X-Man.
he's no,
no, Professor X.
Professor X. Yeah,
Wolverine ain't do shit with his mind.
No, yeah,
He dumb as
Professor
fuck.
X.
Professor X. So imagine if she gets pulled out of this reality, and then he's just sitting there, and she's all confused and shit, and then she's like, "Who are you?" You just see him turn around in the chair, and he goes, "I'm Professor Charles Xavier." I'd be like, "Ah, shit."
Nah, that'd be mind-blowing.
I'm stretching it, but anyway, I give this episode a fucking 10. I don't care.
Yeah, this
I'm
was like
giving
the
it a
best
10.
one thus far. So
This shit was fucking crazy.
yeah, but that's my final thoughts. This episode was amazing, bro.
It was amazing.
I can't wait for the next one to come out next week. So
check it out for sure. There's a lot of shit going on with this show, bro. It's so good. I cannot wait for next week. We stayed up until 3 a.m. to watch it as soon as it dropped and put this review out as soon as it dropped. So show us some love. The audio and visual quality will get better as the weeks go on. We had a few shipping difficulties with some equipment, and we're working that out. So hopefully by next week everything's completely solved. If not, the week after that for sure. And our surroundings and our equipment will change, so we're not just recording this on a phone. So yes, please be patient with us and tune back in and show some love.
Yeah, and if you guys are familiar with this channel, you know that we do podcasting on the side and reviews for different shows as well. So definitely, check that out if you guys like this one. And like you said, subscribe.
The Bachelor from Paul Bell.
Yes,
we got
sir.
Euphoria dropping Friday.
Yes, sir.
We got what else?
We had The Boys
coming?
before.
We had The Boys was our first review thing. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of reviews, a lot of different shows that we do. So check it out. Other than that, Hush Gang, close your mouth.